Hey guys, gals, and others, it's the Cannabis Crone. Hopefully I don't get eaten by mosquitoes. I haven't done a full vlog in a while, so I'm just got a few things that I want to talk about. The first one is Blackrock. They want your land. Our government wants basically everyone to become renters, and they want to own the land, because if you have people renting, you are more in control of the situation. You're more in control of people. Most of the people that I know that live in northern township, northern Minnesota, are here because we like our anonymity. We like our privacy, we like our wildlife, our quiet green spaces, and we don't want people telling us what to do. When you're a renter, you're told what to do. Blackrock is an organization, a conglomerate that is buying up properties left and right. Buying up private homes, buying up land. They're also buying up record collections, which is really interesting. Like, for example, Joni Mitchell, you know, she's basically sold all of the rights to, like, a bunch of her music. Neil Young is another one. You know, that's the reason that he couldn't remove all of his stuff from Spotify, because he doesn't own all of his stuff anymore. And they have sold it to Blackrock, you know, so I'm not sure why they're buying up all the music, but there's something nefarious with that too. But I'm just here to talk about the land. So they want you to go from owning to renting, and this is something that you know, I'm sure they talk about at the Bilderberg meetings, and they just recently had one, as a matter of fact. Where was it? In DC. And if you don't know, Bilderberg is basically the most powerful people in the world. The elites getting together to discuss what other kinds of plans they have for us, the poor working class citizens of the world. I've been getting a lot of phone calls from people trying to, there's these companies, they're telemarketers, but they call, and they're calling because they're trying to convince people to sell their property turn their property into a rental. And I've gotten many calls like that. Also, Realtor.com is now flooding the streaming services. Guess what? Realtor.com now does rentals. Woohoo! And, you know, and everyone's so happy about that. No, and you can, you know, they've got a little tool, and you can sit there and, you know, punch in everything that you want in your rental, and you can, you know, yeah. Meanwhile, the background checks, the credit checks, all of that stuff pretty much keeps the poor working class out of the running for a lot of these apartment complexes on Realtor.com. So there's that. Okay, so I mean, that's basically what's kind of going on with that. If you have land, don't sell it. It's the time to keep it, and if you can, will it to family members. I mean, like, keep your land. Like, I have 5 acres here, and there is no way in hell that anyone is getting their hands on this. This land belongs to Andy and I, and then it will be passed along to my children, and hopefully they'll pass it to their children, and they will always have this 5-acre, you know, plot here in Northern Township. Yeah, it's real. Don't let them. I mean, they're going to try and get every nook and cranny of land around. Don't let them. And by the way, Joint Planning Board, Beltrami County Joint Planning Board, you guys are idiots. I mean, fucking idiots. Who in their right mind thought it would be a good idea to put a Dollar General, one of those big old gray ugly ass Dollar General buildings, in the middle of Northern Township, in the middle of our beautiful country? There's a nice, what's it, Northern Veterinarian Clinic. They have this beautiful little building that they designed. It's really cute, and it kind of matches with the background. And then next to them, a Dollar fucking General. I mean, it's almost as bad as the liquor store that the Joint Planning Board decided would be a good idea for the city of Bemidji. Instead of making money in other ways, they decided, well, you know what? There's a lot of alcoholics in our community. Let's just build a big old liquor store. Unfortunately, the architect of this particular liquor store looks like he went into his garage and got all of the discontinueds that he could no longer use, and decided to use it all for this one building. It's this huge monstrosity with about 3 different styles. And there's wood, there's stone, there's paint, there's, it's just a hodgepodge of ugliness. And that was what the city of Bemidji and the Joint Planning Board decided would be really cool for our city. Just what we need, another liquor store. They should have just turned it into a liquor store, bank, church. Got it all in one fell swoop. All right. Domestic violence. It's been in the news a lot lately with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Johnny Depp won the majority of his trial, and he was able to tell his story as a victim, which was really great. Amber Heard's lawyers were making the talk show rounds and just, oh, this is such a step back for women everywhere. Well, you know what, Elaine and Amber, shut the fuck up. You don't represent me. I'm a former victim and a former advocate. You do not represent me. You don't represent any victims. What you represent are people that try and use victimhood falsely. They try to wear that mantle of victimhood when they are indeed not victims, and in fact, many times they are the perpetrators, to get what they can, whether it's their 15 minutes of fame or their money or whatever they're looking for, property, control, you name it. Domestic violence in this country and the danger of groups like Me Too is very, very real. Now, the Me Too movement, isn't this going to set it back? I hope it does. In fact, the Me Too movement needs to be completely disintegrated. It's a ridiculous caricature of itself, and it does not help victims. Me Too only goes after right-leaning perpetrators. So if you have a left-leaning, and politically, if you have a politically left-leaning perpetrator, like, for example, Joe Biden and Tara Reade. Remember that? Tara had proof, major proof. You didn't see it if you were watching mainstream media, but if you watched, certain groups, if you watched Jimmy Dore, Breaking Points, Savvy Sabs, Joe Rogan, they all had commentary on this particular issue. And with the whole Biden-Tara Reade, Tara had evidence. She had evidence that was pretty damning, and it didn't matter. Me Too literally left her hanging in the wind, okay? Because Joe Biden is a Democrat. And we can't have Trump in the presidency. We got to get rid of him. Back in the day when everyone was just like, oh, we got to get rid of him. And I was that way. I wanted him out of the fucking White House too. But I definitely didn't want to replace him with Joe Biden. And after hearing that he had literally sexually assaulted, raped Tara Reade, I didn't want anything to do with it. And of course, he's been a shitty president, and it's all a sham. But left-leaning offenders get a free pass, to continue their crimes. So that's an organization that shouldn't even be here. As a former domestic violence outreach and education coordinator, as a former criminal justice interventionist, as a former advocate and teacher, I absolutely find no credibility in the Me Too movement. And I just think it was a way to further political agendas, and that's it. So if you were a victim and you had a right-leaning perpetrator, then they were going to take up your cause. But if you were going after someone that was politically in alignment with the Me Too, narrative, then you would get no help. And they proved that. So as far as this destroying the Me Too movement, good. Anytime a victim gets justice, whether it's a male victim or a female victim, the true victim getting justice is a great thing. And the fact that they're trying to say, oh, it's a step back. No, it's not a step back for women. It would have been a step back for victims everywhere had Amber Heard won. Okay? And that's the last I'm going to talk about it. I am going to talk about the ACLU, though. See my notes? I am going to talk about the ACLU, though. And they want Johnny Depp to have to pay for their particular legal team, where they, because they were called into the courtroom, so of course they had to have their attorney and blah, blah, blah. And I believe it's the tune of $86,253. That's how much they say Johnny Depp owes to them. Wow. Really, ACLU? Johnny Depp owes you? I, for one, I think personally that the ACLU owes me and every other American a huge apology, because the integrity that has followed the ACLU over the years, I mean, this was an organization without reproach. They were our champions. They were the champions for the working class, and they were champions for the rights of individuals over the rights of corporations. And they were there to help. And what did they do? They lost all of their credibility in one fell swoop because they decided that they were going to sell out to the narrative. And it's really disappointing because my family has always been big donators to the ACLU. I mean, not like big, like, oh, we're going to donate like, $7 million or whatever. But I mean, we would donate regularly. My parents would. They were members. My dad was a big believer in the ACLU. So that really sucks. That really, really sucks. So, yep, just a few things I wanted to go over. But seriously, if you have property and you're thinking of selling, if you can hang on to it, hang on to it. Don't sell, because they want to turn us into a nation of renters, which means a nation of people that are under someone else's control for their own health and well-being. Because whether you have a home or not really directly affects your health and well-being. If you're homeless, not only do you not have a roof over your head, but you don't have a place that you can shower or clean your clothes. You don't have a kitchen to cook in, so you're basically eating whatever you can find, on the street. If stopping off at shelters or soup kitchens or whatever. Oh, my feet are so itchy because mosquitoes are just biting the shit out of them. So you don't have any of that stuff if you're homeless. There's so much more, and it really affects your health. Of course, your sleep patterns, you're sleeping when you can. It's not safe to sleep when you're homeless. So all of that affects you and takes years off of your life. So having a home is very important. And I'm not saying it's bad to rent, but what I am saying is that if you do own your home, it's better to hang on to it. It's better to hang on to the land, try and leave it as a legacy for your family, whatever you can do. But like I said, look into Blackrock, look them up, read up on them. Very, very nefarious, scary group. And they're buying up all the land and they're buying up all the nostalgia with the records, So what the hell? God. Ugh. So anyway, other than that, yeah, just dealing with, again, dealing with more stuff coming through with my neurodivergency, being autistic is definitely, later in life, finding out it's definitely a challenge, and I'm still vacillating between, am I happy that I didn't get diagnosed as a child, or am I sad that I didn't get diagnosed as a child, and I think it's twofold. Number one, I'm happy that I was able to do a lot of things in my life that I shouldn't have been able to do with my lack of executive function and my issues with sensory issues, sensory perception. But it's really, oh, these things are just huge. These mosquitoes are like bird. Look at that thing. Can you see it? It's like a bird. With all of the issues that I had, I was still able to do things. I still ran an organization. I still, produced, created my own shows. I did. There was a lot of things that I did that I might not have even tried had I known. So there's that. But then there's also the if I had known as a child that it wasn't so much I'm a weirdo, it's just my brain works differently, I think life would have been a lot easier in a lot of ways. I might not have been diagnosed with all of these, manic depression, bipolar disorder, all of these weird things that they diagnosed me with. I might not have had my psychiatrist put me on Thorazine when I was 15. So, and I would have probably have given myself more permission to love myself and to be kinder to myself, because for a long time I was at war with myself. I was really hating who I was because I didn't get it, because I couldn't fit in, because I didn't get the memo on how to be a good student, how to study, how to sit still, how to not be screaming inside my head because the fluorescent lighting was just too painful for me. And why did I always have headaches in school, and the school nurse calling me a hypochondriac and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that so just kind of vacillating, going, there's a dichotomy, there's two different sides to it, but all in all, I'm okay with who I am. So, and I hope you are too. I hope you're okay with who you are, and I hope you have a beautiful summer evening. It's gorgeous. It's very breezy though. We've had a lot of wind, so it's inordinately, I think you can see it's just very, very breezy. Hopefully, I'm not giving you guys a video with a lot of that wind sound. I don't know if it's hopefully it's not too bad. I don't like watching videos but I don't have a lot of equipment. I just have my little Sony. So thank you for bearing with me. Again, have a beautiful evening, and namaste.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da